BassResinator here. I have fantastic news. Just went over 1,500 subscribers. I said I was going to do something special, so I am. And IntoResin is sending a mold. It has not arrived yet. As soon as it gets here, we'll have the giveaway. I'll have to come up with some parameters for how to get to the giveaway. This is a special piece that I'm doing here. First off, I'm going to be using eye candy colors, dark ocean green, queso green, in queso you don't get it, and gauge green. This is an 8-inch square mold. It comes with a little wooden box to keep the walls, and even then they're collapsing in, so hopefully the pressure of the resin will push out. But this, well, I'll go ahead and explain the whole procedure before I get into this. I was walking my dog and one evening, and I looked down, and when my kids were smaller, they said, "Papa, we're having a butterfly storm." We live right in the area where it's a major flyway for birds going south or going back north in the springtime or the summer. But in the wintertime, critters are flying south, including butterflies. Well, we live real close to a road, and if you've heard some of my videos, you'll hear the cars going by and stuff. So, and if you don't hear a car, there's the car. But I'm finding all kinds of dead critters. Some are in ridiculous shape, and there's no way I would consider doing anything with them. But I found this beautiful swallowtail butterfly, and he got walloped. One of his antennae, the left one, got broken off, and the right one is there. And he was already stiff like this, so I don't know how long he had been that way, but the ants had not gotten to him. Well, he's over, it's about a week and a half ago, so his body is completely dried out. Now, I did take him outside and do a real quick spray with some varnish, some clear varnish, to keep, I don't know if you know this or not, but butterflies have little tiny feathers. That's what causes them to be able to fly, because their wings without those feathers are just like paper thin and don't have any lift, but those little feathers cause them to be able to lift. They also have all the color. So if you ever grab a butterfly and flying around, and you grab one by the wings, and then you look at your fingers and you see a bunch of dust, those are their little tiny feathers, and you've just made it harder for them to fly. So be careful. So, but I thought I want to honor this beautiful creature, and I'm going to use, first off, these green colors. I want the background to be green. I want it to look like he's in nature. But I had some peacock feathers that I cut off the eye part. But if I put these in here, look at the glistening. I don't know if you can catch it, but every once in a while you see that glisten. I've got a couple of those, and I'm going to lay those down. I'm going to put these greens in the background, so it's like flying over a very verdant meadow or something. Then I'm going to put these feathers down, and then I'm going to put a little bit of clear, and then I'm going to put some foliage down. And I've got some dried foliage that was pressed. And then we have different types of plants around here, trees, and one of them is called a huisache. and it's a bean, and this is the seed pod. This is half of it, and it's really cool looking, so I thought I would use that. We have a butterfly bush. This is dried. I dried it in Wise Dry silica gel. Beautiful flower. And that's dried. And then, and these are all things that butterflies like. Then there's these Rotibita columnifera. Depending on who you talk to, it's either Mexican in a blanket or Indian in a blanket. I don't want to get into stereotyping or anything, but that's what they're called. Then there is this vine that grows down here called the Mexican flame vine. It's a real brilliant orange. This is dried. All of these plants, other than the pressed ones, are things that I've dried. I'll bring those last. We have a plant down here called Turk's Cap. Now this is the variety that is native to here, and they're related to the hibiscus flower, and they're a lot brighter red than this. When it dried out, it got kind of a maroonish color, but they're just a brilliant red when they're on the vine itself or on the plant. So I'm going to put a couple of those in. This one's still got some sand in there apparently. And then we have beautiful bougainvillea. These grow all over the world in climates that get warm, temperate. Anyway, this is bougainvillea. This is one variety. They come in a bunch of different colors. And then there is a plant down here that really attracts the butterflies and bees. It's called a blue mist flower. Now this is already dried, and it kept its color really close to the original. And I kept some of the foliage on it, so I have a couple pieces of those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these different plants around, and then on top of the blue mist, I'm going to attach this guy with a little bit of UV resin. So he's going to be up higher than the other flowers and stuff. But I think this is going to be a really cool memorial piece for that butterfly. But it's also going to be one that's this beautiful nature. And anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself because I've got to put down the first layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do not a dirty pour, what do they call it? Where you just put one color and then put another color over the top and then another color right over the top of it and let it spread out, and then it'll come back, and however it comes back, it comes back. But that's what I'm going to do with these greens. So yeah, I'm going to mix up about 9 ounces of resin. Hopefully that'll cover the bottom. I'm hoping, because it says it'll hold 106 ounces if I were to fill this all the way up. This is 2.5 inch, maybe 3 inches deep. I don't necessarily want to go that deep, but I do want to give the depth of these flowers on different levels and stuff. So yeah, I really want this to look good so that butterfly can be held in its... they're such beautiful creatures anyway. I did one for a dragonfly that I found that had met its demise, and it came out really nice. So hopefully I can do something similar with this one. So now, got to mix up some resin. Thank you to get me over 1,500. This is really important to me. That there's actually that many people that actually like my stuff. Wow, humbling. Okay, so this is for y'all, and I'll come up with details for the giveaway. And as soon as I find out exactly what IntoResin is sending, then I will let that be known as well. But yeah, this is fun. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, I got all of the resins mixed up, and the clear is got a little bit of light green dye in there. The other ones have the mica, and I'm gonna, there's some bubbles on the top. I'm gonna use my torch real quick. Okay, and I ended up deciding to go around the outside instead of just pouring in the middle. So I'll start with a light green. I'll just go light, medium, dark, and do it again if I have. And then what will happen is these colors will push on each other, those two work really good together. Now let's see about this color. Come back with the light again. And then I'm going to use that clear to have a push from the middle. And it'll recombine these all on the outside. And then they'll start hurrying back to the middle as they cure. Some luscious color right there, I'll tell you what. Okay, now for the push. This is going to be interesting. Bam! And then those other colors are going to start pulling their way back to the center. Okay, now I want to go around with my dotting tool around the very edge in case there's any bubbles trying to hide out in there. Because wherever there's a 90-degree angle on a mold, wow, it's like bubble attraction. Okay, now I can see there's quite a few little bubbles. I'm having to stand at an angle so that the light hits it so that I can see where those bubbles are located. Okay, now it's basically sit and watch the magic. I'm going to leave the camera running and we'll get a little bit of a time lapse going. And then when its stuff stops moving, then I will drop the those feathers on the top. Okay.
So high, we've got resin art that hits the sky. Bases thumping, hearts that slow. Feel the vibe, we let it grow. Colors swirl like liquid gold. Stories told and tales unfold. Catch the rhythm on the fly. BassResinator, here to amplify. BassResinator, feel the groove.
This is cured up. It stopped moving. So now I want to put some things in there, and I think I'm going to UV them down in place. But you can see how that collapsed in. There's still an area that's clear right there, which will be kind of cool, I think. Wow, this color of these feathers. Okay, so get my this one needs to be up a bit. Let me turn that one in. Okay, and I think I want to leave these to float up a little bit if they will. So I'm going to put UV resin on that corner and on this corner, in that area. I'm thinking I want to put one drop right in there to hold them together. Now I've got some of these flowers that I'm going to put down at the first level. I ordered these a couple years ago before I was growing my own bluebonnets, and it said these were bluebonnets. They're blue. They're not bluebonnets. Dummy me. Don't believe what you read on the internet. You know, I don't think I need to put any of the leaves in, because that green is doing a really good job and those feathers are doing a good job. So I will save those for some other thing. I am going to put in this bean here, but I need to coat the back of it so that it won't. I'm going to go spray that right quick, just a second. While I am waiting for that paint to dry on that, this guy's a little on the that chunk of that bean pod. I'm going to put these Turk's caps as if they're dangling from the corners, enticing the butterfly to come over here. Now, I'm not too worried about that little, see that drop that landed on the blossom itself, because this is clear resin, and I'm going to be putting clear over the top of this. So I'm not too worried about it. Get all these things held in place. Oh, I see a dog hair right there. Got it. Now you see how this one's up. I don't know if you can tell very well or not, but this one, this little part of that feather is floating up there. I'm going to put this bougainvillea. Now, if you hear people that don't speak Spanish, they won't call this bougainvillea, they call it bougainvillea. I don't care. It's the name of the plant, and people around here pronounce it bougainvillea. So that's the way I say it. I know is that they're very pretty. Okay, now that is not. I'm gonna have, this one is gonna be okay. But this one over on this side, I'm gonna have to put something on it to hold it down. Just make sure that's, yeah, that's not going anywhere. Good, good, good. Now I have this flame vine. Is an orangish color. And you see how there's this gap right here with no flowers? I'm going to set that flame vine right there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side with the butterfly blossom or peacock blossom. But I need to trim off the stem. Oh, that's really pretty, except those little things that are sticking up are way up in the air. So I've got the colors matched. Now I'm going to put these, we'll just call it a person in a blanket. I don't care if it's an Indian or Mexican. Doesn't matter. Oh, this one needs to go on the bottom because that leaf right there is holding that one up. And I grow these. You'll never believe how I got these. I did not grow these from seed. They were growing on the side of the road. Bunch of them. And it had just rained, so I got out and just yanked on the plant, and since it had just rained, the roots came right up with it. And I came home, planted it, and it's been growing for 2 years. Got a lot of blossoms on it right now. Really cool. Okay, so I've got it. Maroon, 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 orange, orange, blue, blue, brown and yellow, nice green. Now, do I want to try and do, I probably need to put these at the same level. And then I put resin in here. I don't want to put that butterfly down on top of these blue mist flowers at this point because I'm afraid they will, of course it doesn't weigh anything. Probably wouldn't hurt, but okay, let me see how I'm going to do this. Yeah, he doesn't weigh anything. Can you see him very well? Right in the middle there. I wish I could get his body to come up from like that. How in the world am I going to do that though? Will he hold in place? Looks like. Oh, that's cool. Sucking on the blue mist flowers. All these other flowers are commanding his attention, saying, "Come, drink forth from my nectar." And he goes, "Nay, I shall have this nectar. The nectar from the blue mist." Okay, now it's time for me to mix up some resin and get this next level going. And I shall pour here. There's some of that little sand that I used to dry. I don't know which flower it came off of, but okay, let me mix up some resin. I decided to add some Plains Coreopsis to cover the stems. Now, Plains Coreopsis is another plant that the butterflies and the bees go crazy over down here. So and I grew these too. So all of these flowers I've grown, except for those blue pressed ones there. I don't know if I should leave this blank or put something else up there, but I haven't figured out what I want to do with that. So I think I'm just going to leave it as is. Oh, I remember. That piece of wood should be done now. Should be dried up. Be right back. Sprayed both sides. Now this was a really dusty brown. Now it's a dark brown. But that just sucked up that varnish. This side didn't. This side it got shiny, but this side did not. But hopefully that doesn't affect anything negatively. I want to get these over the top. Okay, enough mess there. This should hold it down. That was the one item I needed. I needed that space filled. Got it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is get that bigger lamp and go over the top. And so I'll put you on pause. Okay, I've mixed up my resin and I am letting it degas for a bit. It's got a few bubbles. I didn't put it in a big enough container to put it in my vacuum chamber. So here, since I have already gone over 1500, and IntoResin is, being an amazing company that they are, is providing a giveaway product, which I'm not exactly sure. I think I know what it is. I think it is the glass, the pumpkin that is as clear as can be. They also have one that's a frosted look, and then they've got one that's just clear as can be. And it's one of those handmade molds. And I asked, and being close to Halloween, I said, well, you know, could we do a pumpkin? And they said, sure. So I mentioned that those two different ones, and they said, well, we've got some that we have. We had some extras, so we don't have to wait for 30 days to get it done. So we'll go ahead and ship that out. And I'm like, awesome. So I don't know which one is going to be, but we'll find out when it does get here. So I'm going to try and come up with a way to make the giveaway to where you have to do something. I don't want to just put everybody's name in a hat and hope we get everybody, because I will undoubtedly miss somebody's name, and I don't want to do that. So one of my nicknames that I got from high school is albino, and I don't think I've ever mentioned it on this channel. I have mentioned it on my YouTube, not my YouTube, my Facebook thing, but not on this channel. So I don't think that would be fair to throw something like that at you. But I have mentioned why I use the name BassResinator. So if anybody can, in the comments, write why I have chosen BassResinator as my name, my YouTube name, then I will put you put that in the comments, and if you have done it correctly, then I will. Man, that sounds so self-centered. Anyway, that's the first thing that came to my mind that I think would be somewhat of a challenge for new people. It is in my YouTube. I will tell you that. And I will tell you that Tracy from Mini Scenes GB mentioned me in one of her videos about my Midas apple. And if that rings any bells, if not, maybe look at her stuff, and you can go back on mine. I'm not trying to hide it from you, but I just want it to be a little bit of a challenge for those of you that don't know. So if you can tell me or write down in the comments why I use the moniker BassResinator, and you do it correctly, then I will put your name in the Wheel of Fortune, in a name generator that will, everybody who does it, I will put their names in and let the computer world decide. That I hope that is agreeable to you. Now there are just a few tiny little bubbles, but I think they will come up as it cures. So I've got 8 ounces of resin here. And, well, there are a couple bubbles up on the surface. Let me pop those with my torch. Okay, those are popped. Now I'm going to try and pour right here. Try is the operative word. Okay, right where I wanted it to go. And those feather things are floating like I wanted, at least right above the flame vine they are. Ooh. Anybody remember the movie The Blob? This is sort of oozing around like the blob. I have no idea how far 8 ounces is going to go in this. But I just want to get a layer down to help hold those flowers in place. Wow, those feathers are going dark. But that's so cool looking. And I'm almost out. And this is going to continue to self-level, so it's going to keep going around. I see a bubble floating up there on that top corner. I'm going to get him. And this Turk's cap over here in this corner turned a lighter red, similar to what it actually is in real life. I'm tempted to mix up a bunch more, but you know, I think I would be doing something not real good. I think for the next layer, I will go a little bit deeper. I was going to get it over to the middle and then use my torch. Not my torch, my long-handled lighter. But it popped on its own. And it's just sliding that way. But notice this blue thing lifted. So that's why I had that UV resin there. And notice the UV resin that I did put down. Well, you can't see it, so you can say notice, but it's not there. Oh, this is going to be pretty, folks. Pretty, pretty, pretty. It's still moving a little bit that way. I'm tempted to lift it up and get it to go, but nope. I'll just let it do its thing. I got this plant. I lied. I did not grow this one. It's 5 houses down on the left. They have this huge bush of it. It's like 15 feet tall, just loaded with flowers. And I asked if I could get some, and they said sure. And there were some seed pods, and I said, can I get some of those seed pods too? And they said sure. Well, I brought the seeds home and I planted, and I have 5 healthy little plants, and I cannot wait for those things to start blooming. And I mean, the plants right now that I planted are about 6 inches tall. And that plant's going to get much taller than that. So let me just push this guy down. I'm afraid there might be a bubble underneath, and that's what's holding it up. Yeah, there was a bubble right there. I caught ya. Now it may still float up. That's okay. But if there's a bubble, I want that bubble gone. There's one over here. Just push down a little bit and up came the bubble. Get that resin over the top. So I will, in the description, I will write the deal of the giveaway. So if you weren't paying attention, it will be there. There we go. I got that taken care of. Yes, this is pretty. Okay, I'll let that cure up, and then I'll put in, I guess I'll go twice as much as that next round. There's a bubble right there. Got him. It was probably came from that plant, that blue flower that somebody mislabeled bluebonnet. It was not a bluebonnet. And that's running out of butane. Okay, I'll come back later. Well, I couldn't film all of my stuff because I looked and my battery was at 2%. So I did pour in about 10 ounces of resin last night, and then I just poured a little bit more, but I want to do something special. Now, IntoResin is doing the giveaway, giving a mold, but I want to do something from me that definitely shows me. So whoever ends up winning the giveaway is going to get a sprig of bluebonnets that I grew and dried with Wise Dry silica gel sand. And I'm sitting here talking about bluebonnets, and I thought, you know, as much as I really like bluebonnets and stuff, and I didn't even put any in. How dare I? So, on this little layer, going to put in a beautiful, that's actually too long right there. Beautiful representation of bluebonnets. You know, I'm wondering, maybe I should, yeah, I think I'm going to go this way. These guys have a tendency to hold bubbles as well. Bring him over here on top of this other one, this fake bluebonnet that was sold to me as if it were bluebonnets. Can't believe I fell for that. It's such a pretty flower. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna get a mold from IntoResin and a sprig of bluebonnets. And if you live in a part of the world where these do not grow, well, I will expect to see some bluebonnets in your resin work, if you do resin work. You know, maybe somebody entering the contest won't even be a resin artist. Now, I don't know if you can, well, you can't see it. I have some tape up here because this mold is trying to flop in from the top this way, and I want it to stay as square as possible, so I've got some packing tape pulling it. Now, there is no way I'm going to fill this all the way up, but I will go deep enough to cover over the bluebonnets. These bougainvillea are still sticking out, butterflies sticking out, the butterfly flower is still sticking out, so yeah, I will definitely have to probably another inch, maybe another 16 ounces, but I don't want to do the whole thing because that would be too much resin, and it wouldn't, I don't think it would look good having that much clear and then everything, all the flowers and stuff down at the bottom and the butterfly. So yeah, this is really, I did have a few bubbles up here and here that would, even though I sprayed it, was not sealed completely. So there are, when we're done, we'll probably be able to see them. I sat here and dug through it before I poured in this layer. So when I poured in the resin, it filled in those holes, but there's probably still going to be some little gaps down underneath that. But anyway, the majority of the bubbles are non-existent or not seen. Okay, come back to you when this is all dried up or cured up. I just about blew it. I mixed up my next set of resin and started pouring it in. I'm like, oh, I forgot to turn the camera on. I did add the rest of the stem of the bluebonnets. This is 16 ounces of resin. I'm going to see if this is going to be enough to cover the flowers that are sticking up as well as the butterfly. Well, it looks like the butterfly is going under now. That butterfly flower is under now. Oh, I got this one bluebonnet sticking up. Butterfly's wings are going kind of transparent. At least that yellow on the middle section is staying pretty nice. I'm thinking another 8 ounces and everything will be covered, including this one bluebonnet. But all the rest of the flowers are covered. Oh, this is really pretty. And that Huisache bean pod really has pretty color on the inside of that when the resin got to it. And this little bit. Okay, so I'm looking and I see a few little obstinate bubbles right there. I mixed it about 10 minutes ago, so most of them have degassed already on their own, but there were still just a couple. Now, since I'm going to do one more layer, I'm not going to put the dust cover over it yet, but on that last layer I definitely will. Okay, man, if those bluebonnets don't give off any bubbles, I will be so happy. Yes. And one just came up right then on this section right there. Okay. Wow, I can't wait to get this unmolded and get it in a lot brighter light. Okay, almost done. Almost done. We'll see you then. Okay, ready for the final pour. Now I set this, I went away and did something else, and so I took my gloves off. Try not to touch anything. Now there is a bubble. I'll show you in just a bit. There's actually 3 little spots where bubbles came up. And I will fix them. This is 8 more ounces, so I don't know, I have to calculate how many ounces total that I put into this. Okay, now there was a bubble that came up right here. I don't know where it came from, because everything in this area was already sealed. Just keep pushing until the air comes out. Twisting and turning. I think I got it all out of there. And there's one over here. And that got fixed. There was another one here. That the bubble was there and it popped, but it left a crater. Like a bad case of acne. And that one's done. I don't know what that is. Looks sort of like it was a bubble trying to be. I think we have everything covered. Now, in the beginning, I told you about the giveaway, and I told you about what IntoResin is giving, or I don't know exactly what they're giving. I haven't seen it yet. And I told you what I'm going to be giving. There's some bubbles over here. And those are those bubbles that came up. From me playing around with this stuff. And I see no more. Oh, that's not a bubble, that's dust speck. If there's a dust speck, just touch it, and the resin will absorb it. I don't want to spray alcohol on the surface because sometimes it leaves a weird texture, and I don't want that. I want this to be pristine. Okay, talking about the giveaway. I'm gonna be putting into the box with IntoResin donation. I'm gonna be putting in a little box of bluebonnets, a sprig of bluebonnets, and that will go out to whomever is the person who can tell me or write in the comments why I use the moniker BassResinator. Covering it up. Don't want dust in there now. I already got one dust particle out. So why I use that term for myself, then everybody who answers that correctly, I will gather your names, and in a week after this video airs, I will put all of those names. Trying to put this thing, keep it in place. I'll put those names into a generator type of a thing, and the computer will select a name, and then we'll know who is going to be the fortunate person. And I don't know where you're going to be, whether you're in the US, UK, Australia, Germany, wherever, something's going to come to you. So that's what's going to be happening. So we just stick around and wait for the unmolding now. Thank you for watching. This is cured up. Let me get it out of the little framework that it's in. I think I'm just going to have to turn that over. Whoa, this is heavy. Goodness. take the frame apart. It's easier that way. Okay. Now, there's an interesting pattern that happened on the bottom there. Just a second here. Okay, what I ended up doing is peeling it back because I couldn't get it out of there for anything. But, come on, get out of there. And this mold did warp a little bit. I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if you can see that. That was the top side. But I want to show you this. Remember I told you there were little bubbles there and there. And I don't know. Something that's stuck on the inside of that mold. Don't know what that is, but look at that. I don't like how that mold dipped in on the edges. I don't know how to prevent that from happening. It's like it got hot, but I didn't torch anything. So I don't know if that resin just got that hot. I don't know. But this is really cool. I'll take some good pictures of this. I don't know if I'll be able to get that portions of the sections of the mold off, but I think I need to let Let's Resin know that it dips in. Wow, what a pretty, that blue bonnet. Yep. Okay, now remember, this is my 1500th special piece. 1,500 subscribers, and a piece of lint or something. And there is going to be a giveaway, and the giveaway you have, after this shows, you'll have 1 week to answer the question of why I use the moniker BassResinator. You answer that in the description or in the comments, and I will put your name in the drawing, and you will get a fantastic mold from IntoResin, and you will get some bluebonnets that I grew and dried, similar to these right here. Subscribers, I cannot thank you enough. I mean, 1,500. I didn't even think that many people liked me. Maybe you just subscribe and you don't like me. I don't know. But that's I'm humbled. So I really appreciate what you do and for backing me all this time. Wow. Let's see if we can keep it going and get to another milestone of 2,000 or even higher. I don't know. I don't know what the Lord has in store, but I will continue to try and do what I can to show His creativity through me. So thank you so much for being there with me. Man, the flowers really are showing up their beauty here. I'm talking hem and hawing enough. I will get this video put together and get some stills, and we'll take it from there. We'll see you. Thank you so much.